Hey, welcome back. I'm Wayne and this is Mofo's Reef. I'm getting ready to make some salt for the 205 and this is what I got going on for my RODI system right here. I just want to show my DI resin here. This is the first one that it goes into, and then this is the one that has a TDS meter on it. So normally when this starts pushing out more than one TDS, you can see it color changes and it gets pretty exhausted, and then it goes to this one, which is the backup. So normally what I do is I take this one, swap it over to this one, put a brand new one in there, and put it back over here. To alleviate that, what I do is I don't leave the water on, and then I have a little release valve here, which it'll go through the membrane, all my filtration, and then I can run it out a drain line to a bucket before it hits my DI resin, so the TDS creep doesn't get in my DI resin. But honestly, man, a lot of times if you just leave it run and you forget about it, this stuff, I mean, if you're on it, you know, it'll go up slow. If you leave it on to where it's kicking on every couple hours because your auto top off's going off, I mean, it exhausts pretty fast. So right now, when I have my TDS meter on and I'm running through my sediment filter, my 2 carbon blocks here, it's usually 1-2 TDS, and then the first DI resin will make it 0, and then the second one will definitely catch anything. But right now I'm pushing like 4 and 5, so it's been about maybe 2.5 months, 2 months. So I'm going to swap all this stuff out, the 205 build, just to have some fresh stuff. One thing you really, if you have a decent sized tank, I mean, if you have a smaller tank, I really don't think it's that big of a concern because you're not going to be blowing through too much water. But this is the 75 gallon per day reverse osmosis deionization system, and if you buy another membrane to boost it up to 150, the water you save is absolutely tremendous. I mean, your wastewater, if you're just using one of these, is like almost 4 to 1. 4 parts wastewater to 1 part good water. And then if you put the other one on there, it's almost 1 to 1. So, you know, pony up, buy the extra membrane here, and it'll pay for itself if you have a decent sized tank in a very short while of time. That's my auto top off for the 100. That's a 20 gallon brute. This is the 32 gallon brute of RODI. And then you can see I have, it comes out there, goes into there to a float switch. So that float switch shuts off when that one's full. And then if I'm leaving it run, it'll hit that float switch, and that switch will shut everything off. When that one right there kicks on and off, that's what is going to cause the TDS creep in your DI resin. And it goes quick, man, if you're not on top of it. So I would recommend running it, shutting it off, and then, you know, letting your levels get a little low and then running it again. Because if you leave it on automatic, it's expensive. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's expensive because you got to change your stuff out that much more often. So this big one here is where I make my salt. And then these two over here are still, I haven't opened these things up in well over a month. And there it is. Look at that. My rock's not even white anymore. That's awesome. It's been in there for 3 months. Bacon. I'll make sure I do some water testing on both of these bins before I put that in the 205 to aquascape it, just to make sure everything checks out. I'm pretty sure it will, but you never know. The pressure, I live in Superior Township, Michigan. My pressure is, man, 40 to 42 psi, which isn't enough pressure to run an RODI system properly. So I had to buy the booster pump, and I run this. There's a little Allen wrench screw on here where you can dial it up and dial it down, and I like to keep it right at about 72 psi. I think anything higher than that, you can start blowing lines and stuff. So just to keep it safe, I run it at 72 psi. And then when everything shuts off with the check valves and everything, the pump shuts off too, so it doesn't constantly run. It's on a pressure sensitive switch. Let's make some salt.